Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful. World's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you gotta get some money. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Well, welcome back to the skeptical folks. That's really all I can call it here. This market still roiled by developments in Iran. We'll go over to the charts right away. You can see here is the S&P 500 over the past little while. Been using a 1600 tick chart. I actually should add another one here that's a 5 minute. Because, 1500 is actually a little bit too zoomed in for me sometimes. Oh, you know what? They're pretty similar. Maybe we'll keep it. I don't know. But I think I should keep this one. But let's look at it with the volume profile. I think that's a lot more useful because we want to see where people were actually trading. So, there's a pretty big up day in, that's oil. We don't want oil. Well, pretty big up day in oil, and oil has kind of made new highs. Okay, cool. Here, ES. Gap down over the weekend. They did not make a new low, but it's still pretty ugly out there. Treasuries. Look at the treasuries here on a daily basis. It's just whoosh. But treasuries also significantly higher, right? Up into this range. So there's a point of control up above us. That's interesting. We keep an eye on that. 129.24 half. Critical levels. Now for me, this week I'm going to be, I'm probably going to take some trades. I think we're mostly going to be on some trades though. I'm still sick. I don't know what to, I really thought that I would be over it by now, but I'm still sick. Maybe I will. Maybe it'll get better as I go along and things clear out. Winston, good morning. Skeptical. Oil should go a bit higher. Yeah, right. Well, the thing that I thought was really kind of interesting was that I saw some retail traders out there saying, oh yeah, oil is really up. This is like a great opportunity to go short oil. And I think that the larger, let me just double check here. Before all this happened, looked like they were starting to trend down. You can kind of see it. You see how they were kind of starting to trend down, and then it went up. So some people were like, oh yeah, let's get it on. Like it's going to go down. Maybe people that were bearish to the economy or something. I think that's kind of funny, but I don't know. I'm a little bit skeptical about the seriousness of this all, to be honest with you guys. I mean, I know a war with Iran would be like really bad and everything, but I really don't think that it's going to get that far. Iran cannot afford a war with the United States. They really can't. And I mean, even like some sort of a limited strike, retaliation sort of a thing, like, nah, they can't do it. They're going to have to go along with, what they've been doing, being pussies, terrorist attacks and things like that, but never directly confronting the United States. That's just the way that it is. They have to be that way. So for that reason, I am skeptical that this is actually going to blow up into what the media is trying to make into World War III. I just don't think so. But we'll see. I mean, that's a guess on the, on that sort of a thing. My guess is probably as good as anybody else's. Well, there's a little bit of a spike right there that we could maybe fade at 14. But I'm not quite ready to. My contact is off for starters. Let's see if we can get it to stay where it's supposed to. The treasuries are moving. There's a lot of people added there. That's interesting. And you faded that one? Yes, it looks like you could have. Oh, actually. Yeah, no, that's right. I'm checking here on my histogram. Which side is it on? Because it draws it weird in NinjaTrader, right? So it goes off to the right of it, right? So it was on this little spike right here. Good morning, Lucas. Oh, wait, I was gonna open up the auto reader and I forgot what I was doing. Do you think, dude, did you do your market homework or did you play League of Legends the entire weekend? So he's been looking at me in Discord. Dude can see that I've been playing League of Legends. Like, listen, here's the thing about League of Legends. I am not proud. I am not proud to say that I've been playing League of Legends. Is it buffering? Oh, I'm getting a little bit of rendering lag. I'm sorry, guys. There we go. It's probably just because of that starting up. Okay. Man, my throat is not as good as it should be, man. I really want this to go away. I'll probably skip the gym again. No, like, so here's the thing. I'll go in and I'll play League of Legends. I'm not quite sure why I'm playing it. I think that it's because I think that I can get my kids or my wife to play it with me. But I'll go in and I'll play it. I played Dota for a long time and was quite good at it. And when you play, what character do you play? Hey, Air Cages, how's it going? Well, I've been playing either top or I've been playing the bottom attack damage carry. So, yeah, that's the thing that I think is so funny about it is like I'll go in and I'll start playing. And I think it's because I'm, like low level player still, like they have me, it's just like a very starter. And I'll go in and I'll play Ashe, which is like a long range archer type of character, but that puts out a lot of damage. And the carry is supposed to take over the game, but it's like every game that we win, it's purely because of me, or I feel like that's what the case. You just come in and you can just stand there and kill everybody, and it's hilarious. So yeah, I don't know, but it's just not. I played mostly carries. Yeah. The other one is there's a top character called Mordecai in that game right now that just like destroys everything if you get him going. And yeah, I feel like, oh man, why is everybody else so dumb? Like they don't even try to run away from me. What the heck? But it's kind of fun that way too. But I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't think this game is going to be as fun when you get to higher levels. I don't, you know? Man, that short that it showed me there is looking good so far, man. That's interesting. I'm wondering, I'm thinking this second histogram down here, I've only seen it matter once or twice. And I might get rid of that one and replace it with these two being separated out by Bison cells. I think that would be nice. Okay, so there's an iceberg at 13. Yeah, I mean, for me, if I'm playing the game, it's Quake, man. It's just like, Quake is not happening right now. Maybe Diabolical will come around and they've been bought by Epic, so I don't necessarily care too much about the Epic is evil thing right now, as long as I get to play my game. So I'm hoping that all turns out well. They're our last hope for an arena shooter to do well. I went Googling to learn what a carry is. Any video game when the team is trash or they die, and one of the team members has to put a team on his back and carry them to a win. To put someone on your back and take them. Yes. Well, so the thing is, when in League of Legends, basically you have these towers and armies that come in and clash against each other, and then you play a hero and you kind of farm the smaller armies and go up against the other team's heroes, and you gain levels as you kill more people and stuff like that. And so the point of the game is kind of to cause the other heroes to make a mistake or something, so that they have to go back to their base and heal or something, so that you can farm while they can't. And there are some characters that when they start rising in level get extremely strong. So what the team does is they put everything into that character to help him do well. So he can be like 3 or 4 levels above everybody else. And once you get like 3 or 4 levels ahead, nobody can kill you. Nobody can kill you. So you just literally run around the map and just kill everything. That's what makes it fun. But I suspect that it not be so easy when you get into a higher levels, right? That character is a Guardian Warrior and SJ, I would think. You play an Argonauts. No, it was an Archer. It was an Archer. We're playing an Archer. I'm looking at what's happening here in the 30-year. Some iceberging. I mean, we saw iceberging across the board, really. So are we going to turn back up, perhaps? I'm wondering if there's a different ways of aggregating this out too. Like maybe we could do volume or something. I kind of want to watch it though on. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Duplicate in new tab. Let's change it to 1000 volume. And what happens? Oh yeah, and I have a bagel. I think the signal was there at 12.5. Let's see. Can they get 14? So the question in my mind is, can you get 2 or can you get 3? Archer, Sagittarius, Diana, and her bow. Do you like to use the bow and arrow for target practice? No. I did that when I was a kid.
Lucas says I don't quite know what to make of this action. Seems we are stuck on a range that goes from 115 to 160 for the last 4 hours, so maybe we are looking at some consolidation after all the up move. Lucas says from last week.
Yeah.
Air Cages says Seth's true calling is that of a gaming streamer, not a trader.
Could be.
Never forget that.
I feel like that to do gaming streaming, I'd have to be available in the evening. You know what? If there was an arena shooter that was doing well, I would stream that. In fact, I'll tell you what, if Diabolical actually turns out to be good, I will stream it for you guys. All right. We'll see if I'm still any good. Usually what'll happen is I'll think I'm pretty good, and then something comes along, and then you realize that you're not even close to actually good. That's true calling is a radio DG Wolfman. He was born in the wrong time for radio, but the right time for YouTube. There you go. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I really like you. I mean, the thing is I've always just been really interested in social media. Doesn't matter what it is. I don't know why it took me so long to get into TikTok. Like, I was so skeptical of it because of what people were saying and stuff, like that it was a kids app and stuff. I don't know. It's just like, but then I get on it and I love that application. It's so much fun. There's this girl. What is her name? Oh, I can't even remember her name for you guys now. But if you get on TikTok, you'll find her. And she made this video where she was in a fish costume. And now everybody is running around TikTok talking about fish content and how they want more fish content. And she's been like pushing it and everything. It's great. Okay, so you could have gotten 3. No. Wait. 13.5 is not 3. Right, because it was 12.5. We need to get 14. It looks like it's going to happen, though. Then you get 3.
Eric Cages says TikTok sounds like a massive waste of time. Not going
It's totally
to
a
waste my
massive
time.
waste of.
Sorry, mate.
It's totally a waste of time. No question about it. I mean, it's like Reddit, but it's videos. So, like, you know, like I'll get on Reddit and scroll for like 30 minutes an hour, view all the top page stories. TikTok is the same thing, except for that you don't have to like click links. You just sit and watch it. To me, it's exactly like Reddit.
Winstan's mom says speculator Seth, my friend host Eric, is having good success with his titles that center on dating. Perhaps you should title all of your videos Speculator Seth Talks Day Trading, Trading Futures and Numbers.
Trading futures and numbers. Well,
Lucas says how many subs does he have, Win?
He has more subs than me, doesn't he? I was looking at his page the other day. My recollection, he was in like the 5,000 range. Which is not bad. Once you get to like, it's an interesting spot. Between about 2,000 and 5,000 is like viral potential territory. They really came back there at 14. 383 went into it. I probably would not have gotten filled on that. You could hold out still,
Only
I
Tools
think.
Play Yas says good morning, Seth, laughing face.
Hey, how's it going? New name. Welcome. I'm still eating a bagel. I haven't taken any trades yet. Who's gonna...
Eric Cages says who is going to step up and make a dating app for traders? Us freaks need some love too.
You know, funny. I mean, we could do stuff like that. We could change. I made a second channel, right, for politics, but we could rename it to statistics or something like that. I had friends, they wanted me to write a book about dating. I'm not kidding.
Winstan's mom says host Eric has a bit over 5K. He teaches debate for middle schoolers and high schoolers.
Oh.
He has had his own hero's journey and is a good person, a good man, a true performer, ENTP.
So my thing was when I was dating and I met my wife by this point, and there was this big thing over attachment styles. Excuse me. So when people have relationship problems, like chronic relationship problems, like they're in a relationship, they break up, and this goes on over and over and over again, almost probably 80% chance that it has something to do with their attachment style and who they're attracted to. And not only that, but your brain is just not wired to date in today's world, because our brains care so much about scarcity, care so much about like honestly, think about this. Just from a trading perspective.
Winstan's mom says air cage is not a bad idea, seriously, but the potential for apps is over. Look here now. YouTube is a wild, wild west new frontier and or Oregon Trail.
Yeah. I could come in here and I could trade the E-mini and I could lose like big time almost every day. And then on the micros rather. And then completely replace the account if I had to. Every month. We could do that. We live in such a world of abundance. And yet, despite that, when I lose 5 ticks in the E-mini, sometimes I take it almost as like, it seems like almost like an affront to me or something. Like, it's so dumb. And I know that it's dumb, but your body still does it. And you take those same dynamics into today's dating world. Like they say there's plenty of fish in the sea, but I mean, I think everybody's been told that before, right? Well, when you're dating, it certainly doesn't feel like that, does it? Certainly doesn't feel like that. You are wired to think scarcity. Like it used to be that there was like your tribe, and that was it. And you had to find somebody within your tribe. And if you screwed up within your tribe, then it was a big deal. So we were geared to like really care about those situations and, not screwing up in the big moment. But now, like, I'm not kidding, guys. I would get on Tinder, man. I would go out 3 times a week. But just swipe. Probably could get a match a day if you just keep swiping. There are tens of thousands of people in your area you can date. And people just don't understand this. And so we would get on these Facebook groups and talk about it, and I would give people advice about how to go about systematically dating.
Mom says too many choices. I agree.
Excuse me.
How many rooms do we need in our home to make us feel safe and secure? My sister-in-law and several couples we know who are my age met on dating apps. I can't see me doing it. Eric Cages says a successful trade has the same reward mechanism as beating a final level boss.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why I seem to do better when I'm getting lots of small wins. My best times were when I was getting lots of small wins. I mean, a big win helps too, but I think that the big win gets me into a mode that's not good. Anyways, people found that useful, and so I was like, well, maybe I should write a book. Like, I was joking in there, like, you should.
Winstanza Mom says I was curious one and looked in my area to see who was single and was faced with maybe 10 nice men looking online. It felt wrong to pick and choose in such a surface manner.
Well, so when I understand that concern, and it's totally a legitimate concern, right?
Winstanza Mom says asterisk once. Eric Cages says, Seth, are you okay? Somebody dial 91.
I am so mad that I am still sick. No, so on the surface thing though, like, yeah, so when you're on Tinder, you go through and you're swiping, and the primary criteria that people use is whether you're good looking or not. But here's the thing. If you just only swipe on the best looking people, you're probably not going to do very well, especially if you're a guy, like, because the girls are picky, right? So if you're a guy, and you swipe right on everybody, it actually decreases the number of people that it shows you to, because the app thinks that you're low quality if you swipe right on everybody. So if you use the app the way that it's supposed to be used, and you only swipe right on people that you think you have a chance with, it actually ends up being the best filter to begin with, right? Like, it's very easy for people to look at a picture and decide if they're interested in somebody or not. And then you can put just a couple of little things in the bio to see if they have like the absolute deal breakers. You do that as your filter, okay? And only the people that you're attracted to, you go and you meet. But then the thing is that if you go through that, you're still going to meet hundreds of people. You're still going to meet hundreds of people. And then with those hundreds of people, then you get to see whether you have a connection. And the thing is, you really cannot tell if you can have a connection with somebody just from chatting with them. I'm sorry. But when you get there in person, it's different. The people that I've become really good friends with, and like we have common interests. So usually when I meet them in person, they're just like I expect them to be, and it's great. Okay. But when you're dating, when it was girls and you're dating, almost every time that there was a girl that was like, they wanted to text for a week, and then you go and you meet them, and then it would be disappointing. And what I realized is that dating is kind of like watching a movie. Like, a movie is way more fun if you don't know what's going to happen, right? If you don't know the plot. It's the same thing. Just establish that you think each other are good looking, and then set up a date. And you can go out, I'm not kidding, with these applications, even if you're old. Like, in fact, especially if you're old. If you just take the app seriously and you just go out and try and get dates, you can go out every day if you want to and meet people, and then you can see if you have that connection. So, yeah. What's this question?
Harlequin says, so how does the Amini influence stocks? Let's say I now market short 5,000 contracts. So the stocks also need to drop. So does one robo short some stocks? If then, which Apple is weighted 4% for instance?
Yeah.
Harlequin says, and probably he has to sell several stocks. This always confused me how this works.
Well, so say you own 100 stocks, and then you don't want to be. I mean, the thing is it depends on the strategy, right? Like there's delta hedging and things like that. But for arbitrage, if something went up in Apple, then the index has to go up too. So you could buy it in Apple and you could buy it in the E-mini and, pocket the difference essentially. Or like just buy it in the E-mini and sell it over here and pocket the difference. So they tend to stay, like the thing is, I don't know if they really affect each other. Like trying to splice things out and calculate what it should actually be is not something that's worth it for a retail trader to do, because the robots do it automatically so quickly, right? It's kind of like there's this question of like, is there a wag the dog, like that the futures affect the stocks and vice versa? Because you could come in and sell the stocks really hard, and that's how the flash crash started, right? But in general, I think that they just they affect each other. That which one is the chicken and which one is the egg doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Winstan's mom says, my daughter was 3 when she called 91 asterisk because she wanted Kool-Aid and I was gardening. Seth, do you have any tea or something like chicken broth? You should try the neti pot, it's easy. Winstan's mom says, if I was going to try to meet people I would join an interest group or 3, maybe a theater group, an art group, most definitely a dance club, something where I learn something no matter who is there. Winstan's mom says, I am pretty serious about beginning in March, give or take our futures. I was wondering about perhaps a start from scratch lesson once a week. Begin with how to put money in an account.
So a couple of things there. I definitely have some videos planned for you, but because I got sick over the holiday, the funny thing was I made some videos, and then they're out of focus. So I'm gonna have to redo them.
Winstan's mom says, the most basic lessons. A checklist.
But we got like one is about your PC setup, because that's important, and one is be about how I set up NinjaTrader, or like some settings that are important. Things that you might miss when you're new. One is going to be about strategies and expectancy. So those are like the 3 at the top of my list right now. We're going to get into that. If you're trying to meet people, I would join the interest group. Yeah, that works, but the thing that I found is that there's a lot of interest groups out there that kind of like just, chat on Facebook in a group and don't actually do anything. There's a real problem with this generation that they don't like to actually get out and like do things and organize stuff. It's not as common, unfortunately.
Eric Cages says, I might be old-fashioned, but dating apps are just weird to me. All the crazy girls use dating apps.
Well, yeah. So the issue, the thing is I spent so much time on Tinder, but then I found my wife in a Facebook group. One of the problems that you have in the dating world today, because it's so easy to get into a relationship because there's so many people and it's so easy to find the other people that are single, most of the people that end up being single have an attachment problem.
Winstan's mom says, I have some of the basics, so now I will go through our electronics, and we have several monitors, so I am ready to drive this car.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to learn how because the Model T is no longer available.
Well, we should go through the expectancy thing here. Wait, let me finish eating my bagel, and then we'll go into expectancy, shall we? Because that's a very important subject. We have been just stuck here, haven't we? And you know what? And I got rid of the tick chart. I really do need the tick chart. So we'll bring back the one range chart. Because has this been in a zipper or has it just not been moving at all? It wasn't a zipper. Man, super slow so far. I'm wondering if everybody got all scared on Friday and now they're coming in, and because they don't know which way the Iran thing is gonna go, they're afraid to take no new positions. Okay, I'm gonna eat some food here. I'm gonna focus on eating here, okay?
Eric Cages says, what is the key to a successful marriage? Winstanza Mom says, expectancy, no expectations or needs. I just want to find something fun to do for a few hours in the AM, and you guys have the coolest hangout that's open in the morning, a clubhouse that lets girls in.
You have to know your expectancy, because that's how you know if you have a profitable strategy or not.
Winstanza Mom says, define successful marriage, Eric Cages, and I mean that seriously because that may be the key. Eric Cages says, I just want a nice girl to margin long Bitcoin with me. Winstanza Mom says, Eric Cages socionics is all about relationships. In our case, an ESTP married to an INTJ has a 36-year lifespan.
I would be careful about. I'm gonna eat, and then I'm gonna respond to that one, and then we're gonna talk about to expect. You got to be careful with asks like that, man.
Harlequin says at Air Cages, okay boomer. All the nice girls now are obviously into Garlicoin. Winstanza Mom says, Air Cages, there are very nice girls on the INFJ pages, and if you look at Worldwide Socionics Society, Jack has a great channel on socionics, and call me Dolly. Hello, Dolly, I know some lovely ladies. Winstanza Mom says, would you like to place an order? Air Cages, define your lady of choice. Ekareo says, I'm learning
She's
C#,
gonna find you a
confused about
Bitcoiner.
convert to double and double parse. Are they the same?
Well, that's a good question, Ekareo. Let's a little research that, because I don't know off the top of my head. What is double dot parse do? Double dot parse method converts the string representation of a number in a specified style and culture specific format to its double precision floating point number equivalent. Okay. So S number style.
Ace Trade says, morning. Winstanza Mom says, I would like for a Garlicoiner for Air Cages, but they only go out after dark.
You go to bed too early? Let's see them using it. Temp dot value goes double dot parse.
Air Cages says, I think my standards are on point. Ace Trade says, at Winstanza Mom morning.
So do you have like a string value in a field, as I'm guessing? Convert string to double C sharp, right? Because I think that you use convert, yeah. I mean, that's the one that I would use, is the convert dot to double. It looks like the other one is so that you can convert like really weird string representations of it. But I think that the one that you're looking for is probably convert dot to double with a capital C.
Winstanza Mom says Ace Trades who makes my morning sway. How are you?
How's it going, Ace? A little
Harlequin
early
says
today.
for the last year we have lived like rats. Afraid to show ourselves in the YouTube channels. When people called, "Where are you now, Garlicoin fangaze?" we remained hidden.
So you know what, Ace? I was super excited.
Harlequin says but now it's time for the rats to rise and reclaim what is ours.
I was
Garlicoin
like,
is back.
I was thinking like on Friday, I was like, I'm so excited to come back on Monday and take another good trade. But Monday is so crappy. I don't think that I'm going to put any risk on the table today. It is so slow right now. Okay, there's 14.5 finally. So I guess you could have gotten filled on that one. You never would have had it go against you, but it was still a tough trade. Okay, lance of this food.
Ace Trades says Seth, me too. It's Make Money Monday. Ace Trades says going to get a short signal in a bit.
Well, a short signal on that would maybe be interesting to me.
Winstanza Mom says yes, Ace Trades I had a nice holiday. I'm glad you had a nice one also. We saw Rise of Skywalker. How did you gentlemen of trading enjoy cats? Harlequin says gonna leave for the dentist. Good luck guys.
Hey, thanks, Harlequin. You saw Cats. Was it as bad as everybody said? Because I heard Cats was just
Winstanza Mom
awful.
says bye Harlequin happy dentisting. Ace Trades says at Winstanza Mom not yet, I hear it's not all that great. Air Cages says you guys are right, I need to get my priorities straight. Not the time for spending money on dates when I could be stacking Garlicoins instead. I was blind but now I see.
So I can see the possibility of a short here in the ES, but it's a little tepid. There wasn't a lot of energy in that upswing that we had there. So I suspect that. But we are on the inside at the moment.
Winstanza Mom says right before the holidays I thought your ladies were taking you to cats. Did everyone talk them out this idea? Oh, our titans, speaking of good ideas. Did you see us play?
See us play, what do you mean?
Ace Trade says same here 3216.50 short, but would like to see more up first. Winstanza Mom says 20 watching now. Please take a quick second and hit like, thank you. Air Cages says my Bitcoin long looking good. Hello 2020. Winstanza Mom says football playoffs wild card, we beat Tom Brady, the Tennessee Titans beat the Patriots on Sunday.
Okay, so we got a couple of things to talk about here. What was the first thing? Oh, yeah. So I was going to say air cages. You got to be really careful having too specific of qualifications for your spouse. Because here's what's going to happen. You get to meet this girl. That's going to be exactly all of your qualifications. Okay? Like I did this. I was like, I would like a girl that's maybe like small and skinny like me and does weightlifting. Because, you know, I'm not very good at weightlifting, but, you know, I would like somebody that's kind of like my body type, but is still interested in this sport that is absolutely not my body type. Well, guess what? She exists. It was the worst thing for me at the time.
Ekareo says this.
It was the
Ace
worst
Trade
thing.
says I'm in short at 3,216.50, but with a 3-tick stop.
Okay. I'm watching it, but I don't like it. But it's still too quiet, so I think I'm gonna hold off. I'm watching it though. My hands are right here. So, anyways, anytime, and this is a recommendation that I would make for both dating and politics. When you find exactly what you were looking for, be careful. That shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. Your spouse should be different from you.
Folks.
I mean, you should have similar interests and compatible interests, more importantly. But if they're
Ace
exactly like
crap.
you, he's already stomped out. Yeah, see, I didn't like that one. It was kind of weird how it ticked up so, you know, hardly on anything. Anyways, especially when it's a politician, man, that's a really good warning sign that you're being manipulated. When it's perfect. If it's perfect, you're being manipulated. And that's the first thing. So the second thing, Wynn was talking about tea. So I have a question for you guys. Because I live in Utah, right? Nobody in Utah drinks tea. So I don't think I can ask anybody this question. But last night, because I was sick, my wife was like, well, you should drink some herbal tea. Obviously, we don't drink real
Mom
tea
says,
in Utah.
Seth, are you still on board with this administration's policies and decisions? Speaking of politics.
Let's talk about that in a bit. So she had some chamomile herbal tea. She's like, you should try that. So I tried the chamomile herbal tea. You stick the tea packet in the hot water and you can immediately see the chamomile kind of like, badoosh. I was like, wow, that's so cool. So I'm like sitting it, dipping it in there and letting it soak for 5 minutes like you're supposed to and all of this sort of stuff. And I'm like, I've never had this stuff before. I've never had like herbal tea. Okay. So I'm like, okay, this should be interesting. I can smell it. It smells good. And like, it smells relaxing. And I take a taste. And like, the act of tasting it. Okay, maybe now. Shoot. Well, I got a bad spot. Is something happening? I don't see anything. We'll see. Anyways, the act, like as the chamomile touches my lips, it's so relaxing. The chamomile, right? But then I taste it, and it's water. It tastes like water. What the heck?
Winstanza Mom says chamomile is the only herbal tea I do not like. You simply buy green tea bags from Walmart and then add in ginger and or fruit, play around with the flavors. I like Tivana, which sells lovely teas, but
I don't know. So is that what tea is? Tea is just
Winstanza Mom
just
says
tastes
they
like
are
water?
super expensive and turmeric. You can add turmeric to the tea.
All right, well, We're just clicking around a lot here. I don't know what's going on. They seem to think something's up, though. There must be some piece of news that not everybody has yet.
Only tools play. Yus says fancy leaf water.
It's fancy leaf water. It's like I mean, it had a slight taste to it, but it's just hot water.
So, flavor the water with tea bags to your taste. Add honey because local honey increases your immune system.
I did. I added honey. I added a spoonful of honey, which kind of gave it a strange numbing feeling to it. Okay, Cudlow is speaking. Cudlow is speaking. White House advisor Conway asked if Trump is confident can still renegotiate a nuclear deal with Iran. Says, sure, absolutely. Yeah, don't.
Winston's
who
mom
cares
says
what
I
she
add
says.
collagen to my tea and I make a tea with green supplements to get added boosts of earth.
Is tea really just like flavored hot water? Is it like what is the Mio of hot water? Is that what it is? Or what is that other crap that everybody talks about that's just flavored water? It was like, and it wasn't even like a strong flavor. I was like, this is disgusting. I can't drink this. I went and I made myself some dark hot chocolate. Is tea really just taste like flavored hot water? Is it gross? I thought it was so gross. And it reminded me, I used to have this coworker from China that sat next to me, and he would use the exact same cup for every cup of tea, and all he drank was tea, and it was like stained by the tea. It was so gross. Reminded me of that. Not real tea, though. It was, an herbal tea. Chamomile. Man, that whole thing was pretty weird. I'm surprised they moved the way they did and then not, do anything. And now they're just kind of sitting here again. And look, the treasuries really moved up. I suppose that you could have shorted it, but I would be extremely hesitant to do that. Now the E-mini, that's super interesting.
Winston's mom says * Chinese accent, if you add cinnamon to tea then you will stabilize your blood sugar. Yes, tea was simply leaves that fell into the water of an emperor or so says the ancient Chinese secret.
Oh, she got it wrong. It's pound accent Chinese M. You add cinnamon to tea, then it will stabilize your blood.
Only tools play. Yas says LMAO.
So it's interesting. I think that what happened was a bunch of people got short like me, and then they all got out, and that's why it moved higher. So this could still go short, but I'm going to say that so far it's been a bad trade. See, it's kind of trying to downtick now. Kind of funny. To put this in perspective, this is the same number of engagements that top New York Times and CNN stories on Facebook had over the past week. A lot of people sharing this satirical story on Facebook don't know it's satire. And what is this post from a satirical website has been shared by more than 500 times, saying the DNC called for the flag to be at half-mast because of
Winston's
Soleimani.
mom says the Hindus believe you must first let water sit so it calms down after its journey. Do not drink water from the tap, that water is tired, and so is the Hindu grandmother who carried the water, HMM?
I've never heard that. I wonder what Olaf from Disney's Frozen would think about that. Some family members just called because their Republican friends on Facebook are circulating it like it's legit. We have a lot of worry. And why would anybody believe that? I tell you what, though, the Democrats sure are mad about that, about him being killed.
Winston's mom says I learned this on YouTube while listening to the Hindu gurus.
They're sure fiddling with it. Okay, so what was the other thing that we are going to talk about? Oh, yeah, expectancy. Okay, so when? This is where you got to pay attention. What is expectancy? Expectancy. I'm going to make a spot down here for it. Bring this over here. Expectancy is how much we should expect to get out of a trade.
Mom says we are in a dangerous place today. Speculator Seth, I would like everyone to be careful. Plan for the lights going out, just in case. Fill up the car, have cash on hand and dry goods, just in case.
We'll see. Okay, so first of all, let's ditch that. Okay, so expectancy is going to be your average win times your average win percentage minus your average loser times your average loser percentage. Oh, they went higher. Okay. Minus your commissions equals E. Okay. Why is that important? Okay. And you can actually do it as like W times let's say, can be average win times X can be our win percentage minus L times 100 minus X.
Expectations average win times average times. Slow down. No, I will replay a bit later.
Right. So why does this matter? You got to know. So here's what I saw. For instance, there was a person out there and they were taking 3 times loser compared to their winner. Okay, let's do the math. Okay, so when you win, you make 3 ticks. When you win, you make 1 tick times
Winstanza
X.
Mom says win for Winstanza Mom win.
Minus 3 times 100 minus X equals your expectancy. Okay. Oh, sorry. We're going to say that you're going to break even. Okay. So what do you have to do to get break even? Or with commissions, let's say equals commissions. Okay. So this is X minus, we're going to break it out now, 300 minus 3X minus or equals 100 times your commissions. Okay. All right. So now we're going to combine.
Ace Trade says, wow, when your short turns into a great long. Winstanza Mom says 52-minute point mark for replay later. And hit like when you read this comment, please.
200x equals 100 times your commission plus 300. Okay. So let's say our commission, let's say we're doing the E micro. Okay. So we're going to do 100 trades here.
Winstanza Mom says better than a bucket of left-hand turns, lol Ace Trades.
100 times 1.25. Oh, of course, duh. I'm stupid. 125. So 125 plus 300.
Ace Trades says at Winstanza Mom, I guess that is true.
425 equals negative 2x, right? Okay. And then half of that is going to be like what? 225? Did I do the math all correct here?
Winstanza Mom says old Air Force initiation right. Ace Trades send the young airman off in search of a bucket of left-hand turns.
It's a 2.12, right? I did something wrong here, I think. I'm sick, okay? X equals that. That's not right. Oh, you know what? Let's go back here. Let's go back. We're just gonna do it like this, okay? I know where I'm making a mistake, but okay. 0. Okay. Is that right? Where am I making my mistake, guys? Oh,
Ace
no,
Trade
I know
says
where I'm
another
making my
possible
mistake.
short is setting up at 3,118.25. Wait for it to hit a few times.
Okay.
Winstanzamam says speculator Seth, I have a business degree and I can speak a tiny bit of quantum theory, but I do not speak formulas.
You can, but you did not speak formulas. Okay, here's where we made a mistake. Equals 0. Okay. 1x equals 3 times 100 minus x. Yes. X equals 300 minus 3x. That's right. Okay. 4x equals 300. Right? 75. X equals 75. Right?
Ace Trade says at Winstanzamam or Blinker Fluid.
So what does that mean? That means that for you to be profitable before you factor in commissions, you have to win 75% of the time. So here's what you do. You go and you set up your thing and you trade it on Sim. And if you win 75, 80% of the time, then you will barely break even. You'll be barely profitable, right? So from that perspective, does it make sense to allow your average loser to be 3 times your average winner? Not very doable, is it? This is why expectancy matters. What we would rather do is do something like this. Let's say that you can hit your average winner is, let's say, is 3 ticks times 45 minus your average loser is 2 ticks times 55.
Winstanzamam says add up 3,118.25 and if the numbers come to a 3, 6, or 9 then you should have the energy to vibrate onto the right frequency. Ace Trades, I watch too many Tesla videos. Lol Seth, would Venn diagram work?
Minus 110 equals 25. Okay. So at the end of 100 trades, you would make 25 ticks. That's a profitable strategy. And after 100 trades, and you every let's see here. How do you factor? The commission is 1/7. So as long as you're making more than 1/7 of 100, 100. So as long as you're over 14, so we could take out 14, right? You'd still be profitable. You'd still make about 15 ticks, right? Which is about $250. Okay, so let's say you took 100 trades in a month, and those were the properties of your strategy. That's what you would make. Now, is that doable? Do you think that you could win 45% of the time if you were looking to make 3 and lose 2? Doable, right? This is why expectancy matters.
Winstanza Mom says Ace Trades I paused the first time I had to ask base ops if the tit gauge on a C130 was operative. It is not pronounced the way it is spelled, and yet I carried on and delighted everyone with my mistake.
Okay, so we were looking at 18.25. I think that was all of the things that you
Winstanza Mom says 1 plus 5 equals 6. See Tesla was correct. Lol.
So I can see the treasuries moved up there pretty significantly. Okay.
Ace Trade says at Winstanza Mom I can't imagine the crap they put you through.
Dang, dude.
Ace Trade says Malit lots take first profit. Winstanza Mom
good
says
job,
speculator Seth, so the formula is expectancy and I would use this every day?
I think I missed it. I'm not going to chase more than a point. Now, if it breaks, this one I could take it.
Winstanza Mom says, may you live in interesting times. No, they were good to this private Benjamin.
So this is not something that you use every day. This is something that, like, when you're thinking about your strategy, you do it at the beginning and then,
Ace Trade says 2 points before breakfast.
Trade it for a month and then see if your win percentage matches up to what your expectancy is supposed to be. And I feel dumb that I missed that trade. It's okay. It was 18.25? Man. And they're not taking the one that the spot that I was seeing or here earlier either. So I'll just wait. I'm proud that I didn't just FOMO in because it would be underwater right now, right? Should have clicked when we were right there though. Sooner.
Winstanza Mom says like sitting down at a poker table with your bankroll. This expectancy is your bankroll.
I don't know about that. I mean, your bankroll is the size of your account, right? So this brings us into that brings me to a second subject here, which is your drawdown, right? So, like, say you have an expectancy over 100 trades you expect to be profitable, but how many times in a row will you end up being wrong during that time period, right? Because you might have a strategy that it works really, really well, and you're winning 45% of the time, and then all of a sudden there will be a market period where you'll only win 30% of the time. And how long does that last, right? And that's your drawdown, your maximum drawdown. You know, so your maximum drawdown is like...
Winstanza Mom says, in other words, if you play FOMO with your bankroll and lose, then you can't play any longer. The idea is to spread out the play to last as long as possible.
Yeah. So and not only that, but like, so here's a drawdown, right? So that right there is your maximum drawdown. So the question is, what is the maximum drawdown that you can handle? Well, theoretically, it would be the size of your account, but in practice, it's not because of, the psychology behind it, right? So that's another factor that you have to put in. But you're not going to know what your drawdown is usually until you've tried trading it. I don't think I can take this. I'm going to wait until 7:45. It's interesting that my face is ended up being off center in the picture. The moves. I'm gonna get rid of this little mount that I've been using. It's not helpful. Treasuries seem to be holding these prices really well today, don't they? And now we're at like break even for the regular session, right? I don't have my expert levels on this. Okay. Oh, well, that doesn't help. Let's try that. No. Why is that under levels? Oh. It did it. Why is it not working? Is it just not exporting the levels at all? Well, that's not right. Must have it on the wrong kind of chart. Oh, yeah, I do have it on the wrong kind of chart. You know what we need to do here is this one. How do I rename the tab again? Rename. Daily ZN.
Ace Trade says at Winstanzamam, how else would one pronounce that gauge on a C-130? Also, I have been inside one of those in flight, watched some guys jump out.
What? Okay, this one. Oh, I do have it on there. There we go. There we go. I was just being dumb. Are you still in that trade, Ace? Mm-mm.
Ace Trades says yup.
Cool. So tempted. Nope.
Winstanza Mom says Ace Trades you spelled gauge correctly and I took the shortcut. You have been inside of a 130? I like those little workhorses of an aircraft. Where? It's pronounced by the letters you say TIT. Winstanza Mom says ready for a long joke you can listen to?
Okay. Just trying to pay attention to it closely because I missed it and don't want to miss it again. This is where
Ace
it could go
Trade
short,
says at
but
Winstanza Mom it was with a local NG unit.
this is where it could go short, but I'm going to wait for
Winstanza
the
Mom
open.
says a man calls his stockbroker all anxious and out of breath with this urgency in his voice. He says, sell it all, sell everything fast, right away.
Okay. There's some people exiting before the open. The 30-year seems to be uppity.
Winstanza Mom says the stockbroker tries to explain that the market is cyclical in nature and that for long-term outlook stocks still remain the place to be. The man says, let me tell you a secret. Winstanza Mom says you know I've been married for 6 years now and I've been your client for 5 years. Yes, go on. The stockbroker says, well, my wife has this thing about the market. Winstanza Mom says her grandparents lost it all in the Great Crash and ever since then her family found investing in the market akin to original sin. When we got married I promised her. Winstanza Mom says that I would follow in her parents' footsteps and never venture in the stock market and always leave all our money under the mattress.
Okay. This is going to be a volatile open, guys. Look at that. Do you see them try and sell it? Sweep it. And the volume is clearly to the downside too. Okay. And buyers make a push.
Winstanza Mom says that I would follow in her parents' footsteps and never venture in the stock market and always leave all our money under the mattress. Wow, I didn't know that. I guess.
The stockbroker saying that.
Winstanza
Okay.
Mom says you want the money because the market is going down. In case she asks for it, no, I want the money because she ordered a new mattress and it is being delivered in 2 days.
Okay, that was a good setup.
Winstanza Mom says there is a delay. I won't try long jokes anymore.
You know what you should do is you should send it to me on Discord. Click the Discord link and you find me in the channel and message it to me, and then I can just read it out. That was a great joke. Okay, they're buying it. Curious.
Winstan's mom says okay.
Well, my read today hasn't been bad. That right there, though, is maybe you buy. I don't know. In the treasury. This is quite the spike there in the treasury. Well, it was a down spike, so I think that you buy those. Yeah. They're struggling a little bit with this 21. But they eke it out and they overcome this previous red bar. But now we've got 2275 above us. That's going to be a little tougher.
Winstan's mom says I knew a salesman for our computer company, a serious drunk who did not trust banks. He buried his money in coffee cans on his beachfront property. Later he would fall hard and get arrested looking.
Oh, man. His beachfront property, what? That's crazy.
Winstan's mom says for his buried treasure. Sad story, but gosh, I wanted to buy his place when I heard he was selling.
Man. I mean, that's the thing that scares people is that we always tell you, well, you shouldn't put it under your mattress. It's not safe. You should put it in the bank. But then when you find out that it's not in the bank anymore and it's not safe there either, like it just triggers all of people's fear. You know what I mean? Okay. I'm not so sure about this one, to be honest. But I can see it flagging. There's quite a bit of volume going through here around 21 area.
Winstan's mom says we were there for the .com and I know many people who made tons of money. It was interesting observing how they began spending this newfound wealth. Very archetypal behaviors.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can't look at like any one individual person, but you take a group of people and the behavior is so consistent, right? It's kind of scary. Okay. Hmm. And the treasury's kind of calmed out there.
Winstan's mom says I was amazed at how many of the top people decided they needed an airplane and bought into those charter plans so they could say they owned a plane.
Oh,
My nephew
really?
owns a plane and he sells yachts.
Okay, guess not. Okay, so we'll wait for another bar. But I think that this is just a long above this, and then maybe it's a long all of a sudden.
Ace Trade says at Winstanzamam, I know there are a lot of planes in the ocean, but not a lot of boats in the sky.
Oh man, what? Oh, that was good.
Ace Trade says I got long 3221.00 for the heck of it.
For the heck of it? I kind of liked that short, but I should have known better than that they would have fiddle around with things first.
Winstanzamam says, a lot of planes in the ocean, but not a lot of boats in the sky. What a great song title, Ace Trades. That is seriously creatively funny.
Did you just make that up? If you just made that up, then we need to write a book about you. That's what
Ace Trade says playing with house money.
Yeah, gotcha. You did pretty good on that first trade, right? So a wonder though, are they going to try and close the overnight gap? That's what it looks like they're trying to do. Now you're finally getting the short.
Winstanzamam says I thought perhaps the best day of my life, arguably, was getting our boat, and yet, the day we sold her. I wanted to name her Marley, but my husband said the Coast Guard would question this reasoning. Ace Trade says out.
Interesting. That was pretty short-lived, wasn't it? This is a bad signal. Okay. Maybe not. They're going to try and push it up really hard because they know. This is so different. Okay. Congress and the president should not be wasting their time and energy on a continuation of the totally partisan impeachment hoax when we have so many important matters pending.
Winstanzamam says Ace Trades this week. My dance song is Mustang Sally, John Travolta and Michael dancing to Mustang Sally. I am going to buy a Ford Mustang. I have decided turquoise blue.
Ooh. You gonna get a new one? Okay, so there's that bar. It's unclear.
Winstanzamam says sorry, Seth. Lol.
It's not a new one, an old one. So, it's unclear at the moment if there's an imbalance.
Winstanzamam says nope, not new. That is the Cobra. I want something around 2012 or 2013.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're just buying. After the opening range high, then maybe.
Ace Trade says at Winstanzamam we shall paint it green and call you Bullet.
No, don't be going soft on me already, buddy. Okay. The treasuries are not giving up their gains yet.
Winstanzamam says we drive a Prius now and it's vanilla white, lol. Ace Trades green as the
Vanilla
color of our heart
white?
chakra. Bullet Steve McQueen now he is old school cool one can only hope. I like green.
If the equities decide to keep going here and get above that opening range high, then the treasuries are probably going to get slaughtered.
Ace Trade says at Winstanzamam I know about the Prius, and I love you anyway, an environmental disaster on wheels.
That's funny. You know, I find that you have an interesting collection of opinions. It's when you're talking about like conservative versus liberal kind of cultural issue things, it's difficult to predict which way you're going to come down on. It seems to me like you are more your Utah conservative, but you know, like you're pro choice, for instance. I can't predict it. It's interesting. I mean, I guess that's good. When you get people where you can predict where they're going to come down on an issue, that's usually not a good thing. You could probably predict where I'm going to come down on an
Winstanzamam
issue.
says there is a video making my feed which shows you how the old Model T drives. Tough little workhorse and yes, Ace you are interesting. The Prius was not my choice but I do like him.
I think I want to get a Corolla for my next car. Been having battery issues with my car.
Ace Trade says Seth, I agree, it's a weird mix, pro-choice but want my guns, lol.
Oh, but want my guns. I guess you're a little more libertarian than. There's plenty of libertarians that are pro-choice. Well, not getting over the opening range high yet. It's been 5 minutes now. Wondering if I should switch my ES and my micro DOMs because I'm so tempted to watch the volume in the micro because it's easier for me to glance over at what the treasuries are doing. PMI now, right? No.
Ace Trade says at Winstanzamam the batteries have a huge carbon footprint, and how many will you go through before it's over?
$52.8. I think they want that gap. Okay, now they're above the opening range high and holding it. And the treasuries are starting to realize where they're at.
Winstan's mom says well, himself owns the Prius and he is an ESTP who has managed to be very hard on everything from our Mercedes to my Jaguar.
Ouch.
He simply does not keep cars for good reason.
Yeah, I don't think I ever want a super nice car. I don't understand how anybody could buy like a Lamborghini unless it was gifted to them by Lamborghini, you know? Like a car like that would be really expensive just to maintain. And I wouldn't ever drive it unless it was like on a racetrack or something. Cars get beat up. Okay.
Ace Trade says at Winstan's mom well, that explains it, lol, we do need to switch from fossil fuel to something, but every time someone plugs in an electric car around here, more smoke pours out of the coal plants.
Are they coal plants? I thought most of the plants around here in Utah were natural gas. Here in Bountiful, it's natural gas. Actually, I don't think that I get my power from Bountiful Power, but Bountiful Power, it's natural gas.
Winstan's mom says I felt the same way about the depreciating assets of a car. The company bought our cars because Paul was a salesman bridge outside sales engineer boss type and needed to network nicely.
Okay, a little bit of clicking there. Am I getting this?
Ace Trade says Seth, there are like 2 or 3 little natural gas plants, but the main power comes from the coal-fired plants in Carbon and Emery County.
Oh, totally. They're small for sure. There is some nuclear power here in Utah too, but in fact, they're starting to build. They want to build a. They want to build a what do they call it? Liquid fluoride nuclear plant out in the middle of nowhere in central Utah. Like literally the middle of nowhere. I think that one is weird because if I'm reading the map correctly when I looked it up, like it's like you're gonna drive like 90 minutes to work if you live in the closest town, and the closest town is super tiny.
Ace Trade says be back, got a kid to shove onto a bus, that part in that song, and mom and dad can hardly wait for school to start again, lol.
Oh, I bet. This has been a long holiday. Now they can go to school and catch more bugs and bring them back home.
Winstan's mom says Ace Trades I did not realize Utah has coal plants. Over in West Virginia, beautiful state, the plants are quiet. We should put something into infrastructure and let the dinosaurs rest easy. Winstan's mom says bye Ace Trades happy school busing. I loved those days.
This is going well so far. That could have ended badly though. I was getting some signals, not some signals, but I was seeing some possible setups that did not look good. But they were able to pull it out. They never closed in a bad way, if that makes sense.
Ace Trade says it's a mix. I actually have enjoyed every day with the kids home. We have done some fun stuff, and fun to let them sleep in, but it's time.
But it's
lol.
Time. The thing that's been funny for me is we've had them for like a week and a half now. We've had them since
Mom
Christmas.
says I'm going to grab breakfast and we'll check back in shortly, but be quiet because the markets should do something soon. Ace Trade says at Winstanza Mom not to brag, but out coal is among the cleanest burning coal in the country.
Our coal is the cleanest coal?
Winstanza Mom says yes, Ace
President
I confess
Trump
summertime and the living was not easy, I found camps. Ace Trade says are not out.
Oh, Donald Trump tweeted 4 minutes ago, Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Good. Oh, so that was the one thing that we didn't talk about. The Iran thing. The Iran thing is difficult because you're going to have all of the propaganda outlets are going to be out on television trying to sway things one way or another. You got the Iranians trying to do their thing. You got the Democrats trying to do their thing. It's just a complete mess. And everybody seems to, like when you go on social media, everybody's like, it's World War III. It's probably not. Probably not, guys. Just saying. Probably not. But when everybody's all in that triggered state, I've found that it's pretty useless to try and talk any sense into anybody. You just wait a few days and then they say, oh, nothing happened. And then maybe they calm down,
Winstanza Mom says I was a mom who found stuff to do during the summer. We really liked our 2 summers of bowling and that surprised me.
Oh,
the Iran
bowling
thing is so serious, speculator Seth. This is their 911 a martyred hero.
Well, it was a serious thing, but the thing that bothers me about the way people are getting triggered about this, they're like, okay, he was a hero. Well, not everybody in the country likes him, but that's not the point. This is a significant provocation and yada yada yada. The only reason that they're saying that they care is because they're trying to make the case that Donald Trump got us into a war. Is what they're really trying to say. Like messaging wise, the message here is we entered a war with Iran, and if Donald Trump wasn't president, it wouldn't have happened. That's the case that they're making. And I just, first, of course, that's gonna rub me the wrong way. But the thing is this was gonna happen. Like, come on. Iran has been doing everything they possibly can for the past year to start a war with us. It's like they want it to happen. Like all this stuff with the boats and all that sort of a thing. And Donald Trump could have, you remember when he was like, I could have attacked them and I decided not to and all that stuff? Deep pullback. Overextended a little bit there, though. It's just silly. Like they really want a war. And so to say that it was like Donald Trump's killing of this one guy is the thing that was like the biggest deal. I mean, come on, he was attacking a U.S. embassy. Why do people not focus on that?
Winstanza Mom says we took out a state general, their Secretary of Defense. We are not allowed to do this in going after or threatening cultural sites as a war crime.
So that is an interesting discussion.
That's dangerous.
That one is both of those are an interesting discussion. So the first one, the one that I think matters more is was it an assassination? So if he was planning imminent attacks and there was no way to go after him legally, then it's supposedly not an assassination. And that's why the United States government is saying that he was planning another attack. But, I mean, does it matter? I don't know if it matters. Like, I think you can assassinate people, but the United States doesn't do it. So that one's kind of more of a moral victory kind of a thing. The destroying cultural sites, I mean, what are the culture? He didn't give any specifics. It was just like a poorly worded tweet. And everybody has said, oh, we're obviously we're not going to do anything that's illegal. And of course, Of course, that's the case. So that one I would just chalk up to Trump tweeting something impulsive, and I would just ignore that one. It could be interesting, though, if the international community starts to harp on it and decides that it was an assassination.
Says
though.
At this point, the barn door is open. It doesn't matter the how or why. It's the what next that worries me and should worry everyone.
No, I wouldn't worry about it. Because Iran cannot risk a direct conflict with the United States. They just can't. It would be such a boneheaded move to try and do a serious provocation. The most likely scenario here is that Iran de-escalates. Without question. The most likely scenario. Of course, the scenario exists, but you can bet pretty safely on everybody just getting excited for nothing, because that's usually what happens. You could make that bet and you'd win 70-80% of the time. Probably wouldn't have a positive expectancy, because when it's wrong, it gets really bad, right? Asian nations preparing to potentially evacuate workers from the Middle East and U.S.-Iran escalation. Okay, well, we made a pretty good recovery back here. Not a new high yet. The treasuries are still sitting on support at 16.
Winstanzamom says it's not the direct conflict that is a long-term worry. It's losing a strategic and tactical ally and an important base. Iraq is throwing us out and will not allow us airspace now. Will that hold?
So that one is also interesting, but apparently it's not. They did introduce a resolution, but there's a bunch of weird questions about it. Apparently it's not like a final vote sort of a thing. And then there's a question about whether they even have the legal authority to do that. So the administration has been saying, well, we're not going to leave. We put all of this money into this base. So, like, I don't know how that's going to turn out. But that one, again, to me, sounds to me like, just based on who is pushing that particular story on Twitter and so forth, to me, seems to me to be more of an Iranian propaganda push, and is not as serious as everybody makes it out to be. At least not yet. I mean, if something happens and then the United States is, doing all the preparations to take everybody out, then I would be like, oh, okay. But at the moment, I think it's unlikely that the United States is going to leave an airbase that we spent billions of dollars making. Probably not. Probably not. But you're right. There's probably going to be a loss from it. The question is, like, how does it sort out in the long run? It's impossible for us to figure out, Like, I think it's funny when we say this is happening, and people are already trying to call this, like, the foreign policy blunder of the decade, and that, like, all of the implications. And the thing is, like, we just don't know enough to really know how this is going to go. What if Iran de-escalates and it dissuades Iran from being so aggressive in the future, and then maybe that's a net win in the long run? I don't know. Is no way to tell. It's too early. Okay.
Winstanzamom says, and we are in a worse place with ISIS. This will strengthen them. Plus every hard right-winger will see his path to all of the virgins. We could have taken him out, but everyone knew why not to do so.
It does appear that ISIS has gotten a little bit of a reprieve over the past little while. I don't know how serious of a threat at the moment ISIS is, because they just had all of their leaders taken out and all that sort of stuff. If they are a problem, it's going to be a while before they start rearing their ugly head again, Kind of slowing down again. This one right here. See that little dip there, and the activity decreased on it? Well, that was interesting. Now, though, the level 2 activity is pretty consistent. The treasuries just kind of sitting up here, acting bored.
Winstanzamam says the Middle East is officially destabilized. You know those darn predictions I claim to be famous for? I have this one on paper and it's not one I wish to be correct on.
That
and
the
where
Middle
is my
East is
breakfast?
destabilized? Well, I think you'd probably be right about that, but I mean, when was it ever stabilized? You know what I mean? I mean, no doubt the current situation is a dumpster fire. No doubt. All I'm saying is it's always been a problem. And I don't think that we're going to have World War III. I don't think that there's going to be a direct confrontation between the United States and Iran. I may be pushing. Treasury's still not giving in. Well, they're able to pull the bid back up really easily when they do it. So like those last few is only a few hundred to take it bid in the E-mini. But they're not just going. There could still be some. There still looks like there's a good amount of cumulative delta short in the E-mini as well. About 3,000? 16 to 19, yeah. So about 3,000 contracts short from when it was the high. So if they push again, there will be plenty of people to stop out. And I can totally see plenty of people not seeing the gap and trying to short it here, just thinking that the world's on fire and so it should go down, you know what I mean? But right now everything is green. Hmm. There was a click an ad at 16. Who are they going to hit into that 16? $16 in the 10-year, that is. Some clicking to push it up. Like some stacking at 16.5 there when it went bid, but it quickly pulled away. Okay, there was a sweep there. Hmm. Those guys in the treasury seem like they're defending this level really hard. Mm-hmm. They're going to be a 10K iceberg at 16.5? Potentially? Highlight from Yahoo Finance. I think everyone is just sort of guessing right now what Iran's next move is going to be. Platts chief geopolitical advisor Paul Sheldon says, adding that markets are just taking a cautious wait and see approach. Yeah. In other words, maybe markets are not as panicked and freaked out as we're all making it out to be. We're doing okay over here. Yeah, we are. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Now this one looks a little more promising. Is he gonna do it? Oh, it's so close. It's so close. Okay, there's the high. Okay, there's a new high. Maybe a few stops in that, but it wasn't like crazy or anything. Hmm. It's an inside bar breakout to the upside. There you go. Look at the treasuries. They broke 16. There was a big iceberg there, so I mean, like I was saying earlier, treasuries might come back hard here. There's still some people to stop out. That's interesting. I'm going to come back over here and see what are they seeing in equity indexes. Yeah, it could be.
Winstanza Mom says I have cinnamon toast. Would anyone like some tea and toast?
Oh, there you go.
Juliet
Yes.
Ferret would, but she is an obligate carnivore.
She's an obligate carnivore. Because I've been watching out for ferret TikToks, and like I copy the links from them for you. It shows me lots of good ferret stuff on TikTok, but I don't save all of them because most of them are dumb. Or they're music based. Okay, so the activity level in the E-mini here is kind of fallen off a little bit.
Winstanza Mom says ferrets are so funny, they can't have carbs, grains, or dairy, just meat.
Really? So if you give it any kind of carbohydrates, does it make them sick, or do they just don't like it? No, Treasury's held that 16 again. Like, it went offer, but now like it's bid and there's 27 on it again.
Winstanza Mom says they will get a disease called insulinoma, much like our diabetes. It's a killer.
Oh, that's interesting. Because their body can't handle that much carbohydrates in their blood. But they can still digest it. That's interesting. So do you get a thing where like there are certain treats that they would really love to have, but you just simply can't give to them? I'm looking at this hourly bar and it looks really good, but it hasn't flipped yet. Like we're still not above the overnight high of 32.29.75. That's why there's this big old order sitting there.
The diet of our native endangered black-footed ferrets is the prairie dog. So the dog eats his diet and everything in a prairie dog is consumed. Yes, they get eggs and freeze-dried meat for treats.
Oh, okay. So there's another little bit of a sell that kind of almost immediately turns. That one felt a little heavier, but look at that sweep up. Look at that bid at 32.27.75. Are you trying to squeeze them, or is that a trick? Well, they're getting squeezed either way. Nope. It looks like he got filled, though. I don't think it pulled. I'm feeling kind of sleepy here for some reason. Oh, maybe I'm overly focused. I just feel the drowsiness coming on. Maybe it's just the tenure's just too boring today, guys.
Winstanza Mom says 23 watching now. Everyone please take a second and push the like button, bell, or whatever your device desires.
Hey, thanks, Win. I feel so low energy now. This being sick has sucked. I know I'm not as interesting when we're sick, but that's okay. And I don't trade as well when we're sick either, but we'll get through it. We beat this.
Winstanza Mom says stand up and shake it off a bit. Your brain needs a nice long drink of something Gatorade like sugar, water, fruit juice. Drink something.
And that could be I just don't have enough sugar in my blood right now. My brain ate it all. Actually, Gatorade sounds really good right now. But I don't want to walk away while this is still kind of interesting. See, look at that. Okay, so there's another new high. Pretty uneventful one that time. Although often when it's an uneventful new high, that just means they just have to push it a couple more and then they catch somebody. But. Good uptick. Good uptick. One was a little more cautious. Treasury failing that 16 again. That's good. And now just watching this in the treasuries, I'm thinking like, man, somebody's going to be really upset if it just keeps going.
Winstanza Mom says ADHD has been rebranded as executive brain disorder. Perhaps your executive needs a happy hour minus the happy alcohol, but do have a drink of juice or something vitamin C like.
No, I think you have a really good idea. Except for that, I'm not willing to walk away. There was a strong downtick. There's a downtick, but without associated level 2. I'm starting to think that this means that people are trapped and they're avoiding having to exit. I got a lucky fill at 17 after being long at 16.5, but that trade was pure luck. If they pushed the ES sooner, I'd be taking the loss now. Excuse me. I really need to get a shock mount. So if I touch the thing, you can totally hear it. Okay, this is still going. The cumulative delta has not evened out yet. My robot is a little behind here. Where's the archetype of a mother with a sick child when you need her? Oh, I am in the flatline and can't pass the symbol. Well, my wife has been doing. She's pregnant, obviously, so she's not hopping around or anything. But she's like the only one that didn't really get sick. Okay, now they're squeezing Now they're all realizing. That was this is starting to be a little bit too much excitement, though. Okay. I'm conflicted because everything that I see in... Oh, well, I take that back. Not everything that I see, but I see quite a few things here that say that they could continue, that they might still have some people to stop out. But it is getting a little bit excited here. Hmm. It would be weird for them to stop here, but it's totally possible. Look at them treasuries ticking down, looking ugly. Hmm. So they did beat out that high there. Mm-mm. Look at the way that the treasuries came down. Yeah. Slow and then 13. There's not very much at 12.5. What's with that? When you put it on a volume chart, it's not too helpful, is it? Not as much as it is on a minute basis. Okay. Some more clicks, some pulls. Pulling on the bid, basically. Well, they actually pulled and then got swept at 13. Oh, must be because my lips are really dry too. Just didn't drink enough water when I woke up. Mm-mm. Hmm. Still relatively quiet in equities. My delta is definitely accumulating right now. Hmm. So we're coming up on the bottom of the hour, which is a time period I'm particularly interested in. I see the messages before the TTS reads them out.
Winstanza mom says, do you have to go to work today, Seth? You look like someone should tuck you in and give you a pink children's aspirin. Can you stay
I
home
feel
today?
sleepy for sure, man. But I'm gonna go into work. I'm not gonna go to the gym. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be like almost over it and we won't have like the throat thing or anything like that. Like when I'm coughing, I'm not getting tons of junk out or anything like that, right? It's just a little tickle in my throat right now. There they do it again. It's like when they tick up, it's like so easy for them. I find that so fascinating. You can have a price level and they can go back and forth on it and they take it bid and then somebody sells it and they do that forever and ever and ever. But then all of a sudden they'll decide to move up 3 or 4 ticks on hardly any volume at all. And to me, when they decide to do that, just feels so random sometimes. Okay, now they really seem to be gunning for another high again. Mm, okay.
Winstanza mom says the worst sick I ever had was on a cruise ship. The really sick flew sick and there is no privacy. I caught the bug towards the end of a cruise and they don't take you off any faster when you are sick.
I bet. So was that a new high? I think that was a new regular session high. The treasury's looking pretty unhappy. I don't know if the treasuries are going to make it all the way to a new low, but we really called it up there, didn't we? I wasn't willing to sit down and say, I mean, I didn't get a signal, right? I wasn't willing to sit down and say, hey, I really think this is a short or anything like that. But what we did say was, if they fail that 16 level, they're going to be really unhappy. And it sure worked out, didn't it? Okay. There's still kind of uh, consolidating here in the E-mini, it looks like. It looks like maybe a few too many people jumped on long there. Oh, they're selling it hard. Okay. So I'm having a little bit of a conundrum here because that move up there and
Winstan's
failure to
mom says, I will be
bust.
curious about gas prices. Seth, today when you are out and about, will you look at what the stations are posting, please? I will ask himself to
Sure.
check out his location. I think he is
I'm
in
just gonna
WV.
take it because it's time to go. I got they let me out that easy? They let me out that easy? Okay, cool. Well, we made money today. We got a really good winner there. Could have been a lot better, but that's okay. Because I got in at like 22. It could have been more like 20. But that might be the wrong spot to get out at, but it's past 8:30, so and I'm getting like this, so here's like a double top. It probably doesn't matter. Oh, you can't see this. Let me move it over here. You see the double top here and here. But the thing that bothered me was through here, really low activity, came up a spike, and then back to low activity, a spike, lower spike, lower high. I think that what might happen.
Mom says, I just discovered something called Perma Bears.
Oh, that's a funny one. Oh man, where did you discover that?
Winstan's mom says, if you've spent time following the subject of finance and markets on Twitter, a group of commentators known as FinTwit, MarketWatch.
FinTwit. Yeah, so well, you know who the leaders of the Perma Bears are, right? It's Zero Hedge. Always, man. I every once in a while I'll kind of hit, I'll kind of poke them a little bit because like especially after the trade deal, they're like, "Oh, this is so bad. There's no real actual deal. This is dumb." And I'm like, "Uh-oh, you were short, weren't you?" They're always like that. Doesn't matter what's going on, they always see it negatively. And Zero Hedge has been around since before me. So I remember in 2008 them posting stuff, and I'm thinking, well, I don't think that things are so bad. Like they were at the depth of the financial crisis, going crazy and thinking, "Oh, this is so bad. This is so bad." They're the Perma Bears, man.
Winstan's mom says, are Perma Bears naughty? You are giggling like I
They're
told a
naughty.
four-letter joke. Lol.
Well, the reason it's so funny, Win, is because it's especially for day traders. People have this tendency to be negative about the markets these days. Always. They're always negative. And these guys have been short for like 10 years and they've been wrong for 10 years. And I'm always sitting there like, me personally, I've been like in 2008, when Obama became president, that first 3 months was like awful. And then I saw one day the technicals changed, and so my sentiment changed, and I've been bullish ever since. And even through all of these market panics, like the Euro crisis, if of course we weren't around during the Euro crisis, but if you look at the rest of them, I'll always be saying when they get down there, when you see the most volatility on the downside, that's when you want to buy. And I've been right. Like 10 times in a row now. It's like the easiest trade. It's not the easiest trade. It takes real balls to do it. And someday it's going to be wrong. No question about it. But it's just one of those funny things about the market. Everybody wants to be short. So like, yes, totally, right?
Winstan's mom says, are they waxing despair all over the deficit? I can see why a bear might go poo on the deficit during a burgeoning unheard of market economy.
Well, there's certainly a lot of concern here about how everybody has a lot of debt. And what does that mean? And I'm afraid, I don't think that it necessarily has to be the end of the world like some people are making it out to be. But I do think that, hey, probably it's going to slow growth in the future. I mean, that's the way that it works, right? Is you're giving up future growth for now growth. And the now growth, hopefully, boosts you up enough that it over in the long run you make more, and I think that's going to be true. But it's not going to feel like it when the economy continues to just be slow going. Excuse me. Anyways, so like there's so another guy that streams that every once in a while I check. I haven't checked. Maybe I should go check in on him today, but I don't know. Mostly he's mostly talks and not about market stuff, and I just don't find it very interesting. But he's a stock trader and he's pretty good. The moves that I've seen him make, he has a pretty high win rate with those options, man. And when you join his room, they say, "Welcome to the Bear Gang," because he says, because we know how to make money on shorts and most people only know how to make money on longs. But that's just the thing. Everybody wants to be bears for some reason.
Winstan's mom says, "Who moved my cheese?" said the horse and cart salesman to the snake oil salesman. Lol.
Right. Well, but the treasuries are bouncing hard here, so that's interesting. And it didn't really give me any kind of indication that that's what it was going to do. But let's look through our signals today, shall we? Let's look through where we got what we can consider a spike, okay? So I think here was the open. This one is a spike. I think we could do this one, this one, this one, this one, and maybe this one. So maybe it did give us a spike. Okay, and what were they? So this one, it was down, it was up, so that was a reversal. This one, I think we could maybe safely ignore because it was such close proximity. This one, though, was a reversal, but it was very small. Okay, cool. This one, you would be long and you would have gotten that, right? So that one's good. Okay, here, this one is a long and you go short here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So that one was good as well. That was a reversal. Now this one is interesting. This one is harder. Okay. Okay. So this one was telling you to go long here. But the way that it all happened and everything. Interesting.
Winstan's mom says there are some self-help gurus on YouTube who say using my chart will teach you the secrets of the universe and you can manifest the law of attraction to gain wealth, confidence et al. Infinity loop.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of people saying lots of things on the internet. And let me tell you what, I'll make a deal with you guys. You know, when I'm super successful and rich, I'm not going to go around every day yapping about how massively successful we are. I just don't think it's healthy for anybody because you're telling people like, hey, you don't have to try hard. You don't have to. I did all of the work. You just have to do what I tell you to do, and you win. That's not trading, you know. Trading, you gotta figure out your own edge, and trading is a constant battle, every day, hard. It's hard to come in and be your best, you know. And you know, some people will come in and like, oh, we have this great track record, and I mean, if you were profitable in 2019, I haven't had anybody show me a broker statement for all of 2019 that showed profitability yet. If you have one, I would really like to see it. And in fact, if you could give me one and you were willing to let me show it on a video without, your name attached to it or anything like that, then message me because I would really like to show people that, because a lot of people are saying like nobody was profitable in 2019, and then maybe they'll be right because I haven't seen it yet. That's like 1 year. Okay, you were profitable 1 year, you're gonna be profitable this year, but nobody's done it. It's just so,
Winstan's
ignore
mom
the
says, when
internet
I was a
guys.
little girl, our magazine sold glasses to read minds, hypnosis books to trick girls into saying yes, and all sorts of fun things that we just knew would make us superheroes.
Yeah. Well, the thing that's sad about it, obviously, we have people come into especially our Discord, and try and spam you away to another Discord. And you know what? It totally works because you guys are so curious. I mean, I know you guys, right? Like we're very skeptical, but we're also very curious. So you see another chat room, and your first thought is, okay, well, I'm gonna click that link and see what they're doing over there, right? So these rooms can get really big just from spamming links out there, right? But none of you guys ever go for it. They always come back, like people will come back and show me the stuff, and like we'll laugh about what we're seeing in other rooms, because some of these people are really selling some crazy stuff. And probably not very many people actually like buy into it and actually get fooled by these schemes. But if you're selling them for like $5,000 a pop, all you got to do is find one a month, just one a month, and you could live off of that, right? So it's a little scary the way that people work and stuff, and sometimes I find it disappointing. But my aim on this has always been to just be like, let's do our own thing, right? Sometimes we win and sometimes we don't, and I'm never going to sit down and say, okay, I've won, like we've made it, we're done. This is never going to happen. If I'm doing well, I want to be the exact same stream as when we're doing bad, right? Because consistency, that's what we want. And you're not going to get consistency when we're all, anytime that I catch a really big winner and I'm like super into it, and that's when things start getting, go bad. So yeah, okay, we're getting another little spike here. So they might try and reversing it again. Maybe, I don't know, but maybe they're going to push through. I'm also wondering, when we got that long here, okay, so everything was green. Everything was green, and it was at it was right after the E-mini open. Oh, so this was not actually a signal. This was the E-mini open. So you would get out of that one. That's not a signal. And I didn't really see a short. So really we got 1, 2, 3 trades, and they could have all been profitable. Now I've been thinking only take 3. Well, this one was worth 6, but I like it. Speculator Seth calls for someone to offer him his profitability chart. I think you should link this comment when you upload. Yeah, sure. That's why everyone should subscribe if they listen, and ding the notification bell. That way our feed links to our feed. I clear my feed and history regularly. Yeah, I should use that. Now that there's like this new feature where you can just make like Twitter like posts on YouTube, and I should probably take advantage of that. But yeah. If it's okay with you, Win, we're gonna call this stream Win Discovers Bear Gang. This would be funny. Win. Win learns what Perma Bear Gang is. Twitter like post, please explain these. Sure, I'll show you. And then we gotta post our cryptocurrency charts, and we gotta get going. No, it's not made for kids. Save. Okay. Well, we won't pick out your name because nobody will know what that means. Okay, so if you go to YouTube and you come here and you're scrolling on the new, I really like the new YouTube page, by the way, because it's just all recommended pages, and I was always like refreshing so I could get the top 8 and doing it over and over again. Okay, so if we keep scrolling down, eventually it'll start showing you these posts. Where are they? It'll come to it. There will be like a little break area usually. Oh, come on. So it's like I'm saying it and then it doesn't happen. That's funny. There's like a social media post stuff. YouTube apps. What is that? Music and Creator Academy Kids. Huh. That's me. Maybe it's if you go into subscriptions, it'll show them. Oh man, I don't know where they went. They're around there somewhere. I could show you where to make them, because I think to make them you go your channel, discussion, I think, and you just make a public comment. And then it would show up. And then you come back over here, and there it'll be like a section, and it'll show you like public comments from recent people. Maybe it's just not showing them because nobody's posted anything today yet, but later in the day it'll show them. Trending. I don't know. Well, anyways, that's what it is. Let's post our cryptocurrency notes. We had a couple of interesting signals in the treasuries, but I don't know how to read them. This worked really well in ES though. The time frame confirmation bit. See how it went? It went from all red to almost all green, except for on the monthly. And then I went long there, and hey, look, they actually did eventually go up and hit me. So I was saying, I didn't think that it was over. I just thought they were going to have enough of a pullback that I didn't want to wait. I thought 30 was fine. But they did go and fill the gap. It was a good trade. It was an awesome call. I wish that was the only one that I had taken today, though. It wasn't the only one that I took, but I still came out positive. I would be delighted. Oh, man. The robot's already died, I think. Yeah. Let's see what it gives us. Still at 120. I mean, we've been above 100 for a long time. JV says nice trade. Oh, there you go. I was wondering where you're at, JV. Because you know what? I focused really hard on this today. And it looks like it all worked the way that it was supposed to. This one, you had to know that that was the E-mini open. On the hammer patterns and everything, that's a little less clear. There was an inside bar here. There was, in the treasuries, there was a strong up 10 followed by a hammer. And I forget what that one is. I think that one, you get a 1 bar reversal, right? And you get some of these things like this hammer in here. But I literally took it based off of like, okay, on the open, they sold it, and then they overcame that, and it had this strong up thing. Then I said, okay, fine, they're going to go for the gap instead. So I just bought it, expecting a good spot for the gap, and I held it long enough. So to me, I think it was a little bit of luck, not necessarily like a really consistent, well thought out. Well, I mean, it was a good on the fly trade, but it wasn't something that I would do every day, right? Look at the treasuries now; they're going to break the lows. This is kind of suggesting to me that treasuries are going to do what I was worried about at the beginning of the year, where you'll get strong buys at the beginning of the session, and everybody will buy it, and then they'll all just stop out lower, slowly, losing money. 3/4 of a point to go to close that gap. Not a bad run for ES this morning. Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, isn't it always the case though? I mean, we were talking about this earlier with whenever the market is like super freaked out about something, it usually ends up being nothing. And I say with this Iran thing, I'm not saying that like everything's okay, and there's certainly reasons to be concerned about it. But for the markets are probably overreacting. I'm gonna move this a little bit. So here's what we need to do, JB, is we need to identify. Oh, well, and here's the other thing, is that it seemed to work pretty good on the ES, even though it was just like there was really only one actionable signal, and that was when the time frames all switched. But maybe like go through and let's decide what was every single actionable signal. And then we're paying attention to, were we inside when it happens? Because like on these ones, that was maybe an inside bar, right? And you might think that they're going to break out, but then look, they didn't. So because it's on the inside, you always expect that they're going to come back into it. Now that time, they never pushed down to the other side, so maybe then you could have gotten long at that point. It's super hard, though, for me to judge. Now, on the split side, this one, that is a reversal pattern too, right? Strong up 10 followed by hammer. I think that they call that the one bar reversal or something like that. And that one turned out, but I didn't get any level 2 signal associated with that one. So that was interesting to me as well. By the way, where's the Bitcoin here? The area where they all went FTC was still not a bad place to sell before the open. Oh yeah, no, totally. Well, and the thing that was interesting about that one was that Ace came in and he gave us a trade, and I thought it was a really good trade, and I was like really following out because I thought they were just going to go down and down and down, and he was just going to hold it. But it flipped hard. He made his points, and it was good. But really, the long was the better trade in the long run, wasn't it? Let's see. Bitcoin might have to range here for a little while. Publish. But yeah, I'm just looking at the chart, and I myself admit, I think that this is a signal. This is a signal. I don't know about all of this. Hourly. On the hourly, this was inside bar breakout. So there's that potentially. I don't know what to make of it, to be honest. But we need to, if we're going to do this, we need to identify like everyone, and then we need to sit down and say, okay, what were the higher time frames? Was it inside, outside, whatever? Because I think part of the trick here, and something that would really increase the probabilities on our the strategy that we're doing with the inside bar, is to go long or reverse based on what the hourly bar is. There was an inside bar at 755 on my chart that was a decent short as well. So at 655 on mine. You must be talking about the E-mini. Yeah. No, I'm not quite sure what you're talking about. Only had about 1.25 points of risk. Inside bar breakout long, you meant? Yes, E-mini. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, that is definitely a signal. Because we were down, you would want to, I don't know about how you interpret that one. So if it's an inside bar breakout, but then they don't break to the downside, do you still flip it? Or like, what's the probabilities on that, you know? But that's why we've got to track it and figure out, are there certain combinations that have really high probability outlays on them, and just only take those ones. So that's why we got to track like everything. It's got to be like, okay, here's the signal, and here's what all the time frames we're doing on it at it. But I think we need work. I thought maybe I could sit down and track it by hand, but like the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm like, it's too. I need it to draw it for me, so we need to spend the time on it. Maybe tomorrow evening I can work on it. Okay, it is time for me to go. It is the top of the hour. Good trading. Came out, got a good, almost got a 10-point winner, but I got out early because of the time. That doesn't mean that the E-mini won't sell later today, but we'll see. But we caught, how many did we catch on that one? 8 points or something like that. I think that's pretty good. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh, let's do the end bit. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for all the Patreon subscribers. If you subscribe to the Patreon for $5 a month, you will get the cryptocurrency charts every day. We'll give you some stats too when they come. And otherwise, like, subscribe. We appreciate it. Helps the channel grow, helps the community grow, and that's what we really care about here, is building a good community for you all. You're all responsible for yourselves, though. Right? I mean, you can follow my trades if you want, but I really suggest that you should be responsible for yourself, right? So that's all I have to say. I will see you tomorrow. But in the meantime, stay profitable, friends.